May 22nd, 1892. Dear Martha, I slept under the stars last night. There were still soldiers about, but no one noticed me. I spent the morning looking around and realized what a mess I'm in. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I have no place to go. My parents aren't here. Most of the wagons are gone, and the few that aren't have no people in them. Everyone has just disappeared. There's no sign of Girlie or Jeb in January or Ethelbert. When I thought about Ethelbert, my heart sank. He had found me, and now I had lost him. Where in the world was he? Did he have any food or water? I asked one of the soldiers, "Where is everyone?" He said, "The wagon train headed on. The folks who were well felt they needed to get out of harm's way with this epidemic. You can't blame them." I said, "But where is our wagon? My mama and pap had yellow fever and—" He said, "So you were a fever victim, eh? Then your wagon is most likely impounded down at the quarantine stockade. We moved wagons all day yesterday, and we have a few more to move today. They're empty. Folks are either dead or too sick to protect their own stuff. The U.S. government has to do it for them." He snapped the suspender on his uniform. I said, "Where did you move our wagon? It isn't here." He said, "It must be at the quarantine stockade, about 4 miles that way." He pointed. "But they're not going to let you go in there." "The court has to decide who those things go to. Death certificates have to be verified, next of kin have to be notified, and so forth." I said, "My parents are not dead." He said, "Then they'll be able to claim their things. But they aren't about to let a young girl near those wagons. They're government property until a proper claim can be filed. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. It is out of our hands." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He must have seen how upset I was because he said, "I'll tell you what I can do. I can feed you before I send you on your way." That was the best news I had had all morning. The cook at the chow wagon was not too happy about it, but the soldier stayed with me to make sure I got plenty. I went through the chow line and piled sliced beef, green beans, coleslaw, corn on the cob, a big chicken leg, and 2 rolls on my plate. I tore into the food like my life depended on it. The soldier said, "Are you sure you're not an orphan?" I said, "I'm sure." He laughed and said, "Then you eat like a boy." I put the 2 rolls and the chicken leg in my pockets, thanked him, and headed on my way. He called, "I'm sorry about your wagon. If it's impounded, there's nothing I can do about it." I walked the 4 miles to the quarantine stockade. It's surrounded by soldiers guarding people's belongings. There are many wagons in the stockade. Some are covered wagons like ours, and others are just plain wagons. They are lined up in several rows. Unfortunately, most covered wagons look a lot alike. But if I can sneak in there, I could find our wagon because of my mama's artwork. If the soldiers spot me, they might arrest me since I'm not supposed to be there, so I'm staying out of sight. I found a little clump of bushes near an oak tree where I can rest and not be seen. Late this afternoon, I ate the chicken leg and the 2 rolls. When it's dark, I'm going to find our wagon and get what I can get. Love, Teddy. May 23rd, 1892. Dear Martha, tonight was one of the scariest nights of my life. The soldiers in the stockade built a campfire and ate supper. I watched them through the bushes. There were 8 or 10 of them, and after they ate, they started a card game. While they were busy, I snuck around to the side. One soldier walked back and forth guarding the wagons. When he walked the other way, I slipped in beside the rows of wagons. I walked as quickly as I could, trying to find our wagon. Each time the guard turned and walked back, I hid. I made my way to wagon after wagon looking for Mama's artwork. At last I saw it, the last wagon in the last row. The soldiers were having an argument. One soldier said, "Pistachios are nuts, I'm telling you." Another soldier said, "And I'm telling you that there's no such thing, and I think you're nuts." While they were arguing, I ran forward and hid by our wagon. There was Mama's artwork. Mama, the thought of her made my heart ache. I climbed onto the frame and slipped inside. It was dark, dark. I felt my way to the candle stubs I used to keep for writing. I felt a book of matches. I found my copy of Little Woman and stood it on its end. I lit the candle behind the book so the flame was barely visible. The first thing I saw when my eyes adjusted was a fancy envelope with my name on it. It was a note from Miss Melman. My hands were shaking as I tore it open. Dear Theodosia, I'm hoping you are alive. Your father was taken away sick. I'm sorry I don't know where. The soldiers were going to impound Gurley and Gabriel, so I took them with me. You can have them back when you get settled. Captain Walsh took Jeb in January for safekeeping for your father. I'm sorry, but I couldn't find Ethelbert anywhere. I'm going on with the wagon train to St. Augustine, to the Sheridan School. Please come see me. Remember, no matter what you face, you are Teddy Bodain, and you will find a way. Love, Miss Melman. I don't know how long I sat there, but my cheeks were wet with tears. I heard the soldiers talking and realized I had to hurry. I gathered a few things to take with me. A change of clothes, my colored pencils, my sketchbook, my slingshot, and some jerky. Oh, and some fishing line and hooks. I bundled my belongings in the bandana. What I really needed was under the wagon in the secret compartment. I was headed for the door when I stepped on one of Dylan's toys. It made a loud noise. I froze, hoping the soldiers hadn't been paying attention. I heard someone coming. It was a guard. I blew out the candle and crouched down behind the sugar barrel. My heart thundered in my chest. The guard stopped outside our wagon. He called, "Anyone there?" He climbed up on the frame. I held my breath. He slipped inside, feeling around in the darkness. I thought he would discover me any second, but as he walked through the wagon, he put his hand on the envelope with the fake rattlesnake fangs. I didn't even know it was there. The paperclip fangs went off with a loud zzz. It scared him and me both. He backed out fast and jumped to the ground. When he hit the ground, one of the soldiers called, "Find something?" The guard said, "There's a rattlesnake in the last wagon." The soldier called, "Shoot him in the morning when you can see it." I put my hand over my mouth and laughed till I almost fell over. You've got to love Miss Melman. Love, Teddy.